we will have Secretary of Organizational Affairs. Alex is running against Emmanuel Easy, but he is unable to make it today due to classes. You will have 90 seconds to introduce yourself and your platform.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for staying the whole time. It's a really important thing to see all of you guys really care about how Boise State's changing and growing, and that you guys all care about the direction ASBSU is going in as well. It's really inspiring for the people running. I think I speak on behalf of all of us when I say that. But my name is Alex Blau. I'm running for the Secretary of Student Organization Affairs position. And having been here for 3 years now, one of the things I can really tell you for sure is that Boise State is about academics, but it's also about community. It's about the way that you get involved on campus and that you make your time here the best that it can be. I've done that myself through my fraternity, Delta Upsilon, to where I've now become president and led it into new eras. I've done it with Phi Eta Sigma, which is a National Honor Society on campus, where this year we increased our membership by 300%. I've also done it in ASBSU as your current Secretary of Student Organization Affairs and as in past on the funding board. These positions have really allowed me to find my passion for really helping everyone make Boise State their home. And if elected, I'll help them all continue to ignite their passions on campus.
All right, first question. What is your plan when it comes to club funding?
Yeah, that's a really good one, because club funding has changed a lot in the past few years. It's gone from a matching fund system to where now we kind of allow student clubs to come before us and really present on something that's really going to resonate with their mission and communicate to us why it's something that's really a really good value to our community and why ASBSU should fund it. In the future, though, I want to make it a much more approachable body. Right now, a lot of clubs don't really even know about our funding and don't get access to it, and that's something that we can really improve and really take an important role on. There's a lot of clubs that are new, that haven't had experience working with ASBSU or working with other partners on campus and connecting to those partners. So really making funding more accessible and helping clubs do the things that they want to do.
Do you know who the president of Boise State is, the vice president, the dean of students, and associate dean, and how will you strengthen student relationships with them?
Yes, I have met them all at least once in my life. Had lunch with Dr. Custer last December, and that was a really great experience as well. These are all really important people and people who can really help these student clubs succeed. And they're not the only ones that can do that either. I think there's a much longer list of people on campus that these student clubs can help get connected to. And through my involvement the past 3 years, I've gotten connected with a lot of people that I know when a club comes before me and says, this is my problem, I'm probably going to know exactly who to point them to and be able to send an email and say, this is this president of this club and he needs some help on this issue. Can we meet and find something that we can do? Those connections are really what make clubs get the access to the things they need in addition to that funding.
All right, next question. What role will you play in the creativity and planning of events?
Yeah, I think my role is there as a sounding board for ideas. I've had a lot of experience planning events. Upcoming this Saturday, I've got a major banquet occurring on campus that has catering kind of all excited because it's something that's really new on campus and they haven't seen done. So being that sounding board for ideas, I think the other thing is really encouraging clubs to come up with innovative ideas. The new marketing approach that I'm developing in my current position as Secretary of Student Organization Affairs is to really create more innovative events for clubs, and that's the kind of events that we want to fund as a funding board. And so helping those clubs to really understand what it is that we value when we say that. And we mean that we want to see clubs do events that really resonate with their mission, really make an impact on this campus, and sustain a legacy of what that club is on campus.
How will you prevent scarcity of club funding?
That's a hard one because we have 200 clubs and only $500,000 in the ASBSU budget. And of that, only $294,000 goes to student clubs. So there's ways that we can say, yes, we want to prevent scarcity, but the truth of the matter is it's not going to happen. There's no way I can stand up here and say that scarcity is not going to be an issue. The only way that does not become an issue is if we have $800,000 that we can give out. So my role is to make sure that every club can get equal access to that funding and make sure every club knows about it and can apply on time, efficiently, and effectively to get their access to it.
All right. Will you be following up with the clubs to evaluate progress in spending?
Yes. We actually, the professional staff up in the Student Involvement and Leadership Center and I met last week, and we were kind of throwing out some ideas of ways that we could create a lot more follow-up with that, and using the funding board as a lot more purposeful position to connect with those clubs and really follow up on that funding. So there is a system that we're working with. There's going to be a report coming out from ASBSU from my position in the next 2 weeks or so recommending these procedures. Kind of the highlights are really just developing more relationships so that when we reach out and ask, how did your conference go, how did your event go, we really want to hear about it. We want to see some pictures from it, and we want to know how our funding really made an impact on you. Making those relationships so that we can get that feedback from clubs and really follow up with what they did.
This will be your last question. What is your favorite Boise State shared value and why?
That's tough. I would say there are 3, because really it's these 3 that really say what Boise State is about to me. First one is citizenship, because really being at Boise State is being a part of our community and really contributing these civic values that are going to make us a successful community. The other is trust, because we can't have that citizenship in that community without trusting that each other are going to care about each other. And that's the last one that I would point out is caring. That if this community can come together and care about each other in the same way that I've seen our Greek community come together in the past 2 years and care about each other, we're going to be a really great community. And we already are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now open the questions up to the audience. So if we could have all of the candidates kind of circle here in the front. Yeah, we can go behind them. If you can. Is there anyone in the audience that has a question?
My question is we do have on our campus issues between the teaching staff and our international students, cultural barriers. My question would be for those 3 who are running, how would you combat that, and how would you increase more diversity training between for the teachers, or require more communication between the 2? How could you help combat that?
Can I go for that? Sweet. So this past week, I've had the amazing opportunity to take a diversity course, and it was literally the most eye-opening and heartfelt and like gut-wrenching moment of my life. But it really made me notice how people are feeling on campus, and and literally everyone faces with diversity problems here on campus. And I think it's something that needs to be brought to attention of everyone here on campus, including faculty. So maybe at the beginning of each academic year or academic semester is going through a short, low diversity training, which takes maybe a half hour to an hour to get ahead of. Thank you.
Do you want to answer that? Perfect, I'll answer. So actually, this past year on the academic committee, we got to go out on campus and we got to take personal surveys from students, and that was more than half of the majority of the issue that they had on campus was that the non-traditional students didn't feel at home, and they needed help with that also. The Secretary of Academic Affairs meets with the non-traditional students, and he meets with the faculty that take care of that. And I think that's an issue that needs to be taken care of more often, and we need to meet with them more often and finding ways where we can find that happy medium of making sure that they have the equal opportunities that traditional students do as well to be a more successful Boise State community.
Just real quick, I agree with that 100%. And just to add to that, you and I know that faculty can be difficult to work with sometimes, and sometimes they just being in a position of power, you feel a little bit like you're better than other people, and we need to make sure that the faculty understand that students aren't inferiors to them. We need to make sure that that everybody is treated equal. Although there is a subordinate superior relationship, they need to understand that they need to treat everybody like a human being. And like I said earlier, diversity will be one of the major things that I'm going to implement if I'm elected.
Is there any other questions? Brian, you raised your hand first.
This is for everyone running for assembly speakers. Clearly, in the past, we had an issue of retention. So for the three of you is, one, how can you get an audience to represent those said departments, and then throughout the academic year, keep that retention to a level that's sustainable for a student of this healthy student.
So you want to go first? Okay, I'll take it first. Okay, so currently I am a Bronco ambassador, so it's really cool. I get to give tours all around campus. It's also a great networking opportunity. I get to meet with different organizations, housing. I worked with Kobe last year, so I got to work with the dean of the College of Business and Economics, so that was really great. I do have a plan, a goal for Assembly next semester. I would like to ensure that every club and organization is somehow represented in the Assembly, whether that be making it more prestigious and making it a position where it's earned, an application process, interview process to ensure that if you work for a position, you're going to work harder for it, you're actually going to try in the position. So that's something that I want to make it. I want to make it more prestigious, make it kind of like an earned position, an earned spot, but also at the same time, making sure that each and every single Assembly member feels that they are making a difference and that they are a part of something bigger and better.
Okay, so, excuse me, sorry, I'm a little under the weather. So, to gain numbers for the Assembly, I would basically just go out into the field. Make sure people know that the Assembly does exist. A lot of people on our campus don't know what the Assembly is, and I think that's the problem that we have to hit head on. Inform the student body that here's an opportunity that we have, that you can use your voice to change things on campus that you may not like. Also, I think that retaining people to stay in Assembly comes with incentives. If you make the student assembly feel like it's a position, like Rebecca said, an earned position, if you make people feel as if you are important to this. Because right now, I feel as though a lot of people don't know that the assembly members are really making a difference. But for an example, in the student assembly, we got the Bronco alert to be kind of mandatory. You have to opt out of it in order to not get the messages. And for myself personally, I feel like that was just like a glorified moment, like we actually did something on campus. And I think if we continue to have that satisfaction in assembly, then I feel like more people will feel like, oh, I am making a difference. I am important to this. Thank you.
All right, what was your question one more time? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so clearly the past there's been some issues with keeping the attendance of assembly up, as well as having a proper and appropriate representation of each department. So what would you do to make sure that would be the opposite? It would be consistent and people were attending and actually speaking their opinions at each of these meetings.
Okay, that is a very good question. Well, like my colleagues had said before, I believe that we kind of have to go out and network, talk to people, and let them know that, hey, the assembly is out there and it's real, it exists. Like when I first got here, when I first started coming to school here, I didn't even know that the assembly existed. I knew ASBSU was here, but I didn't know that there was like a little body that, you know, people actually went to so they could, you know, voice these students' opinions. And so that was new for me. And so because I know that it's new for me being a non-traditional student, I live off campus. So, you know, knowing that, and then I know that there's other non-traditional students that also wouldn't mind having their voices heard, and also students that live on campus, we need to make sure that that gets told to everybody on campus, even if it's, you know, through the toilet talk or through the arbiter, just, you know, little tidbits to say, hey, you know, the assembly is out there, talk to your representatives, you know, let them know what you think. Honestly, I think we just need to network better, and to keep the attendance up, like she was saying before, you know, we just have to, maybe we could give them some sort of a incentive, you know, say, hey, you're coming here, but we want to say, okay, now that you're here, what can we get them to, what can we do to keep them here? So, I mean, I think we have to work on that, and, you know, we can address that, I guess, later on, and, you know, get that all taken care of.
We have 2 more questions.
My name is Alejandra, and I am part of many multicultural clubs here on campus. I also work for the Multicultural Student Services, my bad. But I have a question, and this is for everyone and whoever wants to answer. A lot of you have been talking about diversity on campus. Diversity is a word that not a lot of people know the meaning of it. It's been thrown around a lot. So I want to know from whoever wants to answer, what does diversity mean to you, and how would you improve the diversity on campus? So that's a question.
Try to limit these to short answers. And if you haven't spoke, this is a good time to. So.
I can go. I'll go. Okay. So diversity to me is, I don't think it just means race or your nationality or anything like that. I think it means that every single person, no matter what your color is, what learning capabilities you have, but that we accommodate those so that you can be successful. And I'm not talking about giving people extra opportunities. I'm talking about making the field level so that everyone has equal opportunities, no matter who you are or where you come from. That's what I have to say.
I'm also a part of a diversity program on campus. I might not look very like I'm deserving of diversity, but I'm a member of the McNair Scholars Program. I'm a first-generation college student, non-traditional, so I definitely think those programs are huge in influencing the diversity in our campus. I think we need more funding for programs like that. I think that everybody should be a part of some sort of diversity program, and also just to go along with that, I think we need diversity in our education. I think that interdisciplinary courses, diversity in that way, I think that'll go a long way. Employers are looking for people who know how to work in teams and work well with people that are different from them, and interdisciplinary courses and diversity groups, encouraging those and increasing the funding for programs like that is going to go a long way in improving the diversity of our campus.
I'll keep it short. So in short, I think that on our campus, it's obvious that we have a diversity issue. I mean, look around you, it's no big secret. But in saying that, it's just kind of strange that when you mention diversity, it's like it's the big elephant in the room that we don't want to talk about on our campus. The moment you mention inclusion and diversity on like in a flyer or anything or up here, it has a negative connotation. And I think on our campus, we need to change that. And in order to change that is to bring awareness to the issues. Like I said, it's an elephant in the room. Once you address it, I think it'll just be a lot more easier. We need to be able to have conversations about these types of things. And through the student assembly, I think if we diversify the student assembly, I think we will be able to accomplish that, get that conversation going. Thank you.
I just kind of want to echo what Milan's saying, because I think there's a really important point that diversity starts in differences, but that's not where it finishes, because diversity is a lot more than that. It's respecting what those differences are and coming together as a community to really just say, we're different, and that's what we love about our community. And really, Boise State hasn't really had that conversation yet, and it's something that we really do need to have. I would just point out one of the things that I've been really proud to see on the funding board is that diversity hasn't been an issue. We've brought clubs in, and the only thing that we look at when they come in is whether this event is relating to their mission, and continuing that and bringing that perspective to ASBSU and to other parts of campus, something I look forward to continue doing.
Quick thing to add on top of Alex's, to get to the point where we are actually, there isn't diversity is a problem on campus, we first must actually have to ask, what can we do to help? And that's the first thing about bringing awareness to everyone on campus to understand diversity in different aspects and take care of it that way.
We will have one last question.
So this actually is just for our external affairs friends. So as you know, hopefully we take pride in the state of Idaho that our state constitution says that we should have equal funding for all institutions and equal funding for all students, which is fantastic. However, we've not lived up to that dream yet. And you all have fantastic answers about what you'd be able to do if our budgets got cut. But have you thought about, and what are your plans for advocating not for only maintaining our current budget, but for more money? Because I guarantee you our budgets are not fulfilling all the roles and needs of all the students there.
Do you want to go first? Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so going off of that, one of the things that I've already started to do with the External Affairs Committee is I've been taking trips down to the Capitol, working with other lobbyists. Just last Friday, we were, Angela Hernandez and I, were talking to the U of I student lobbyists. And just seeing around our surroundings where there were just lobbyists walking all over the place, and seeing how effective our particular lobbyists that we were with was in communicating to legislators, the people that she's familiar with. That makes a huge difference. Because what I love about Idaho is the fact that our legislators, they act like they're people too, because they are people too. And I'm coming from a place like California where we have people that are considered celebrities or consider themselves celebrities, and it's not really the case here. So as I've been reiterating, I think it's important to just have a presence at the Capitol and convince legislators of our cases, listen to students, what they want to see in our legislature, and work on from there. So, thank you.
I would have to say that you're totally correct. We, as Boise State, do not get as much money as all the other schools do in Idaho, and I think the most important thing is to lobby. I mean, we work on Congress as hard as we can to get our money that we deserve, because it should be fair. You're totally right. So I just think that we need to up our presence. Just like Emily said, at the Capitol, we need to be a force to be reckoned with. Honestly, we have the highest student body population. And although we do get a lot of money because of our numbers, it's not the same amount of money in a percentage. So we definitely need to work the Capitol on that.
Well, thank you for coming. We don't forget to come to the President and Vice President Forum tomorrow. It also starts at 3 o'clock. And don't forget to vote next Tuesday and Wednesday. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to stick around and ask additional questions, I'll be available.